G'day legends, Kiive Audio have been busy putting together a new plugin for us, a mastering EQ, the M5133. I've had a quick play of this and it sounds really nice. So we're going to use it on a mix, give it a bit of a master EQ, and let's see how it works. So here is the M5133 mastering equalizer. So at first glance, it looks a little overwhelming. There's a lot of knobs, there's a lot of stuff going on here, but it's actually not that complicated. Down the middle here, you're going to see the link button. So that means anything you do on one side, it's going to mirror on the other side. So if you have it in stereo mode, having it linked is going to mean that left and right channels act exactly the same. You can put it into mono or you can put it into mid-side mode as well. Over here, we've got the main input, so we can push the signal harder into the EQ if you want. There is a saturation section, so this could be helpful if you want to drive it harder. And then you've also got your main output, so you can pull that back down and level match everything. We've got filters, high pass filters and low pass filters with the option to change between a 6 dB or a 12 dB octave. Each of the bands has its own solo, so you can listen to exactly what's happening on that frequency band. Down here, we've got our low frequency band. You can switch it between a shelf and a bell. And then we've got our low mids, we've got our high mids, we've got our high frequencies, and then we've got a saturation section. Third order harmonics and second order harmonics, and our mix knob as well. Up the top, you can choose the saturation type. You can go from transformer, tape, or tube, as well as there's oversampling all the way up to 16x. There is also a width knob, which is really cool for just adding a bit of extra width to the mix. The high button in each of these bands lets you change the frequency range. So at the moment, the low mids can go from 39 Hertz all the way up to 270 Hertz. But when we hit the high button, the frequency range changes from 1.2K to 180 Hertz. So you can change the range just by hitting that button. So let's just jump in and start using this EQ on a mix I've got here. It's a really nice filter. It doesn't sound really aggressive. It actually sounds really smooth. When you roll it all the way off, it doesn't sound like you put a filter on it. It just sounds like we've mellowed the mix out, which is really cool. Very natural sounding. Get a little bit of sub on the kick. I don't mind a little bit of that kind of 2K in this mix, just sort of bringing a little bit of upper presence to it. Those highs sound really nice. Normally that would be a little harsh. I'm pushing it at 4 dBs and it sounds pretty smooth. Even at like 7K, that's not a super pretty frequency range to boost on a master. That sounded pretty cool already. Adding some nice flavor to it. Bringing out that bass a little bit. That sounds nice. Let's move oversampling up to times 16. All right, let's get some harmonics in here. You can really hear it on the snare drums, just like crunching it a little bit. Sounds pretty cool. What about our second order harmonics? adding some thickness. Let's see what Transformer sounds like. It's very like grabby sounding. What about Tube? Tube's a winner for me on this track. That sounds nice. That's done a lot. Let's make sure we're level matching this a bit though. I'm gonna push this in a little bit, but then I'm gonna pull it down maybe like 2-3 dBs. Man, I can crank that high shelf and it sounds great. Let's put a little bit of extra width on this. This thing sounds so good. All right, so it's more than just EQ. There's saturation, there's width in here. It's cool. Let's do a little bit of mid-side processing now. So I'm gonna flick this over to mid-side and turn link off. Let's see if we can change some of these settings a little bit and maybe create a bit more stereo imaging. Boosting a little bit of like 300 hertz in the sides. It's gonna just sort of thicken up the guitars and the keys a little bit. Put a little bit of like 600 hertz out of the middle of the mix. Like a bit of a yucky frequency there. Going to push more third harmonics on the side of the mix, but then more second harmonics down the middle. Second order harmonics are like a little bit thicker and warmer sounding, and the third harmonics add a little bit more edge and aggressiveness to it. So we're going to make the sides of the mix a little bit edgier. That's sounding pretty awesome. Let's push the high pass filter up a little bit on the sides, just mono out the bass a little bit, maybe up to around 70 hertz. That's awesome. That's almost like illegal how good that sounds. So I don't normally get super excited about EQ plugins. Like they generally have to have something special about them, something unique, bring something that you can't just do with a general EQ. And I think the way this is designed, the way the shapes of the bells are, the options that you can choose between, and just the intuitive user interface, the saturation, the extra width, all the little bells and whistles that are included, make this a really powerful tool. I don't think you could recreate this with just like Pro Q3 or anything like that. I think this has a very awesome, unique sound about it. So I think they've done an amazing job on bringing this together. And my understanding about this EQ after speaking with the guys is that it was based off of some Focusrite Blue EQs that they combined together and fine-tuned into a mastering EQ. So it's a little bit unique and it's not necessarily based exactly upon a piece of hardware gear, which is kind of cool. Okay, so one more before and after. Let's check this thing out. Awesome, just adding heaps of life to the track, bit of extra width, saturation, just balancing it out, making it sound nicer overall. So awesome plugin. If you want to try it out, there will be a link in the description below. Using that link does support this channel. If you buy a copy of this, a small commission comes back to the channel. Just a great way of showing your support for the time that goes into making videos like this and showcasing what these plugins do. Make sure you do the free trial period, check it out, make sure you like the plugin, and if you do, grab a copy of it. And if you want to support this channel, consider becoming a YouTube member. There's a link in the description below. You can check it out and see what it's all about. And if you want to support this channel in another way, head over to my website, use the link in the description below, check out my range of drum samples and mixing courses. Grabbing any of those is a massive support. And at the same time, you get to level up your skills and also get some sick drum sounds. If you want to check out another awesome Kiive audio plugin, then check out this next video coming up.